Welcome, everyone, back to another BOLDcast podcast. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Hunter x Hunter Heaven's Arena arc. I was going to do a Giguk tournament arc, but I don't have it in me right now. How'd you like the arc?
It was good.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did.
That's good. Is there anything you want to say about the arc?
Nope, that's it. Discussion's over.
Thanks so much for watching. Check out Patreon. Give us money. All right, let's. I think it's only appropriate that we start off this discussion. First of all, leave a like and subscribe, everybody. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast and everything. Back with another Hunter x Hunter arc. Hope you guys enjoyed the reactions to it. What else? Is there anything else to say? Yeah. So thanks for showing so much support on the discussions and stuff. You guys are great. Thank you so much. But let me just
there haven't been any coming out yet, but so we hope that there's been support on the discussions.
Well, don't call me out like that. I'm baiting people to spur that on. You don't need to. It's a trick. It's a trick. This is all a facade. I'm fake. You're fake. We don't actually exist. You're living in a simulation. Anyway, so Meme Planet left a comment on the post. And I quote, "Is Hisoka a BOLDcast fan? But enter next line. What is your ranking of Nen to other power systems? And next line. When will you finish watching ReZero? P.S. I will unsub if you don't. Canada loser. Aimed at buttocks holder on a motor vehicle. With much love, ReZero fan 1." I don't know why I modded this woman. This random Welsh woman from Ohio. Do you think Hisoka would be a bold enjoyer?
I think we're a bit old for him, honestly.
I think you're right.
And a bit weak.
Right.
we're not very strong.
Speak for yourself. Nen. What do you think of Nen now that it has introduced? That's what everybody kind of wants to know. There are a bunch of other people that asked, but I thought that I would highlight memes thing. Maybe
because
I'll put a bunch of other.
Eloquently.
Yeah, I'll put a bunch of other comments to shout out other people. So.
I guess this is kind of a good thing because this is like sort of the new
biggest
element
thing,
in the story and the thing that's gonna shape it for the longest. I think that it's interesting because it has a lot of obviously when you're creating a power system, there's only so crazy or different that you can go. So I think that it kind of strikes a nice balance of being somewhat familiar. There's these people, they have different types of abilities. Each person can kind of specialize, and then from from there they can do something else. It's kind of basic, but still interesting enough that it's not just oh, this person can control fire.
Do you remember what Nen is about though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying as a basic there's people fighting and they're using this thing. It's kind of it's very kind of similar in that way, but then I feel like it goes a step farther, and I feel like it goes a step farther in a few ways because I like that it's almost like a chakra kind of thing of it's within you and you're you have to funnel it in a certain way to be able to use it. But I like that there's different levels to it, and that Gon was kind of using it beforehand unknowingly. He was using Zetsu to hide from people just of his own instincts, and I don't know. It's kind of interesting, and I like that there's a lot of I feel like sorry.
Take a deep breath and just figure out what you're gonna say first before you just vomit out a bunch of words.
I guess I'm just going in a lot of different directions.
So
here.
The thing with Nen is that it's I get what you mean, that there's the power that's in you, but the thing about Nen that's really cool, and we haven't seen a whole lot of examples of it, so I don't blame you for thinking that it's just kind of mostly the same, but it's really not. And I think the thing that differentiates it from other power system is that it's physics based. It's not based on elemental energy. That's not the basis of it. It's not say if you compare it to chakra, it's all oh, you're a wind style or you're a fire style.
That is exactly what I said. I said it's not like, oh, you're a fire person or you're a water person.
Okay.
It's
I didn't know what you were saying because you kind of said like 20 things at once. So I'm sorry if I didn't pick up on that one part. But it's not, and it's, when you say different levels, there's not really different levels to it. There's not really different levels to it. There's different proficiencies, but it's like there can be a very strong enhancer, but as far as your ability to use that, it's like each thing about each tenet of Nen is kind of like an on and off switch, and I think that's what's really cool about it going forward is it changes like the way that the power scaling works as you'll find out, because it's not necessarily about how like strong you are with Nen, except for like a few extreme cases. It's like how specialized and situational your ability is, like how we saw with all the guys at Heaven's Arena. What's cool about it is their shit was really strong and really worked in very select situations. But once you know how it works and you can break it down, then it's not that powerful. Same with Hisoka. But Hisoka kind of invested in a less situational ability that's more applicable to every thing.
Because he basically...
So it can be used in many different ways, but it's not a more powerful ability, That's the cool part.
He relies heavily on deception and people not knowing his tricks.
Yeah.
But the thing is, even if you do know his tricks, you still have to be powerful enough to be able... what's the I one called again?
Yo.
That you have to be able to use that, also be paying attention to him, make sure that he can't bamboozle you and make you look in a different direction, or just not pay attention to when he's attaching something to you. Like, even if you, like, Gon knew when he went into that fight, oh, Hisoka has this bungee gum that he uses, and then he still got blindsided by it because... if you're not looking, it's literally invisible. So, there's only... And once you get stuck by it, you can't get out. So I really like his, and it's very effective in many circumstances because most people aren't using Gyo constantly and trying to spy what the other person is doing. Some people go for a flashy maneuver, like making a double of themselves. Yeah. That is really, it's effective. But then as we later found out, that guy was working against his natural thing. Tendency. So he was trying to do something that just he personally wanted to do rather than doing something that he was actually good at.
It's like
if he put an artist energy,
it's like an artist going to school for like science, for like biology. It's like you're against your natural tendency and what you're proficient in, and you're not going to be as good a biologist as you would have been an artist.
Sorry, I got a little confused for a second.
Going against your natural tendency with the clones, etc.
Yeah. It's and then it's just interesting to think. Okay, so if that guy had put as much energy as he did into learning that into something that went with him, then he would have been so much stronger, and maybe even would have been able to defeat Hisoka. Because he just would have been more proficient at what he was doing and been able to use it in a way that maybe he could have been using it and used Gyo at the same time to see what Hisoka was up to, or use things in a different combination. And same with the Tops guy. What was his name again?
I don't care.
Okay.
Fuck that guy.
Tops dude. That he like his thing was very effective. Literally. Kind of only if you didn't know about Nen, and that was his entire thing, was that he only went up against people who weren't proficient at it, or literally didn't know it existed.
He was pub stomping,
So I like it, and it's interesting because it shows. I guess that's what I meant by there's many levels of it. There's many combinations and ways that you can use it, and you can choose to go in your lane. You can choose to go the one beside it. You can choose to go the opposite direction. You can choose to like activate different things at different times and use Zetsu, release it at the certain moment if you are, use it.
What is it called? Is it In? Yes, it's In when you use Zetsu on something to like hide it. So like he was so that's when that's the thing is like there's the four major principles, which are like I forget the order, but it's like Ren, Zetsu, or Ten, Zetsu, Ren, Hatsu. So those are the four major principles, and then we get side things of Gyo, where it's I think Ren in your eyes.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like focuses in
In
your
is
eyes.
Zetsu on something, so you can hide something from view rather than just hiding your suppressing your own chakra, basically. So that's cool. So what I like about Nen is there's like two separate things. It's like there's the class system, but that's like how you interact with something that everybody does. But there's the major principles which everybody can do, and then it offshoots from there. And there's more principles, then more ways of manipulating, and more like schools of thought with stuff like that. And as it expands, like it's a really cool.
When
power
you think
system.
about it, it's almost it's in a like not very similar, but almost similar to JoJo with stands of like they have been granted this ability, but everyone's ability is totally different, and you know gets used in a different way depending on the person and how it kind of manifests for them.
In a weird way, it's more like hamon. And if you think about it, like the way you imbue something with it, and like how when Joseph imbues the spaghetti.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't thinking of the like how they ended up using it later on when I
in
think
part
about
2
that.
especially. Yeah, it's a lot. I think it's weirdly more like hamon than or the ripple than
That's
stands.
true.
But stands is also a good example because that's where stands did good as well.
Yeah,
As
and what I was
became,
gonna say about it
more skill based.
is because the power system is set up right from the get-go, very open-ended. It's basically like there's superpowers, but they can be anything and used in any way. So
which only works if you're creative, by the way. If you're not a creative person, then it's just going to devolve into energy blasts.
To with the JoJo thing, it's almost like it's merging the two things together, and keeping it so that right from the start you don't have to shift your power system halfway through because you can kind of go anywhere.
Well, yeah, this is what a power system is supposed to do.
Yeah,
this is what chakra was supposed to do early on.
Chakra, there was a problem with it because they kept later on like, oh, there's these things and this one, it's rock, paper, scissors all the way around.
And then nobody uses it like rock, paper, scissors. They just counteract it with the same thing.
And then it doesn't matter, and then everyone uses lightning style in Boruto. Well,
Boruto sucks. Let's fuck Boruto. I don't want to talk about Boruto.
But it can be difficult to create a power system over a long-running thing in a way that doesn't just make itself ineffective, or you have to go to the next level, or you have to, become...
In Naruto, it's not a good... This is one thing, like, in a lot of things with Hunter x Hunter, Naruto's a really good comparison because Naruto, like, borrowed a lot from Hunter x Hunter, and it borrows even more. Like, the more that you'll go along, you'll see more and more. But the thing... It's not a good comparison as far as Nen, because Nen is just a competently made power system that has a lot of thought put into it, and Togashi sticks to what he sets up. With Chakra, it changes like 5 times, like the sort of philosophy and like what they're trying to achieve in Naruto at the start, with like when shadow clones were like more of an illusion technique versus it's literally just making a copy of yourself that has a certain amount of chakra, and it's basically like another you that can use all your big abilities and shit. Or then it all turns into lightning style and fire style and earth style, it just turns, and wind mostly. It evolves, and it just basically it misses the point of why it was created, and it loses its roots. But in Hunter x Hunter, it doesn't. It sets this up, and you're right, it's open-ended, and that's why it's cool. And it's skill-based, because it's like the most powerful person in the story right now that we've seen fight. There are other people who are possibly more powerful, like Netero or other people, maybe Gon's dad, possibly. But Hisoka is like the strongest person that we've seen fight, and his ability is nothing. Like it's just sticky and rubbery. It has the properties of both rubber and gum. That's basically it. So the fact that like that's saying something in and of itself, and I think that's cool. Like that the most powerful person we've encountered, the biggest roadblock and the biggest rival and goal up to this point, other than like killua's family, Gon's dad, etc., his most powerful ability is like this stretchy, rubbery properties of both rubber and gum type ability. It's not an energy blast. It's not a fire attack.
Yeah.
He uses the cards, but that's like not a big deal. Like it's just something that anyone could do. And I talked about this in the reactions, but how they set it up early on, like showing you all these little things that like all kind of connect back Nen is so cool.
I really like it. And I also, one thing that I really like about what you're saying, that Hisoka right now is the most powerful person that we've seen. But I do like that at the very end of that arc, when Gon sees him, like after, or not when he sees him, when he walks away after the fight, he says he's far away, but it's not an unattainable thing.
Yeah.
That it's basically like, oh, if I develop my own technique, I could probably beat him one day.
Yeah.
You know, he's not. It's not that he's so unbelievably strong. He's a god. He can never be defeated.
He can never be reached.
He can be defeated. He you know, it's not a crazy thing. He's not the strongest person in this world.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. And also we watched, as far as like talking about this arc, we watched when Gon returns to Whale Island. I think that's technically part of the next arc. But as far as talking about Nen and talking about power scaling and shit, the fact that we see Jing,
yeah, and he's
riding a monster who's riding another monster in like God knows where. There's like lightning winds and shit and like, crazy stuff.
I don't know, a volcano and like
yeah, it's insane. And he looks just at home there. So like you can only imagine how powerful he is. But so again, as far as power scaling and setting things up, they don't need to show us that shot of Jing. Gon didn't see that shot of Jing.
Yeah.
So who the fuck is to say that is even real? Second of all, like, we didn't need to see that. It was just cool and a cool thing to show, like, again, this power scaling. And they do a good job at that.
And the world is.
And yeah.
And especially because Gon and Killua don't really, like, Gon wants to find his dad, obviously, but it's not like there's no deadline on it necessarily.
Yeah.
So, and although he wants to do it, he's very easily distractible. So they can explore as much as they want. Killua doesn't have anything to do. They have their oh, we're gonna go meet up with our friends back in York New City, and like, I just feel like it's the story as you're going through it is very flexible. Like, it feels like you're actually along with them, not that it was a pre-planned thing of, like, we're doing this, then this, then this, then this. It's like, we're doing this next, but right now we're going to do whatever because we had some free time. And then we're going to go there, and whatever happens from that point, we could be in who knows where.
Yeah.
By next week. It doesn't, and because Gon kind of has, like, this whatever attitude, it kind of doesn't really matter.
Well, yeah, and
you as the watcher are not locked into anything because he as a main character isn't locked into anything. He is not at every moment in distress of like, oh, I have to find my dad. We have to do this as soon as possible. He's just like, I would like to find my dad one day.
Mm-hmm. Well, he also starts it off, it's like he wants to find his dad. That's like the end goal. But he also, when he started off, it was like, I want to become a hunter because I want to know, because it seems like it would be so awesome. Like that it's that simple for him as well.
I want to know what was so great about being a hunter that my dad left.
But also just because it must be fun. Like, not even to do with his dad, just because it must be so fun that my dad like left me. Like, how fun is that? That must be fucking sick. You know? So I think that's a big part of it too. So then it's naturally within his purview to do that. Like, it doesn't feel like he's being distracted from anything. He states that as his also one of his goals from the get-go, so it's cool. Oh, for Heaven's Arena, this is from Dan Simmons. Are you okay with them not showing the last floors and the floor masters?
Yes, in fact, I would prefer it. I feel like this is very similar to the Killua family arc, where it's like, okay, they kind of told us what was gonna happen, but I don't need to see it. I'm not interested in seeing them just do a million fights. Yeah. Just against NPCs, basically.
You'd rather have them fight people in pursuit of a meaningful goal.
Yeah, or at least in pursuit of something new, not just the same thing over and over and over again. Like, even when we were seeing and I feel like we dwelled just the amount of time on it because we just blasted through all those guys who didn't know Nen. Along the way, then we got up to the upper floors, and we went through a couple of guys to sort of learn about it, defeat it, and then it ended up not being a problem because they were shitty anyway. And then we defeat Hisoka, and then it's like, okay, well, that's all we needed to see.
Yeah. Well, also it's because they set up Hisoka's power level as well, and he set up like he can be a floor master. Like he could easily be a floor master, but he's not there to be a floor master. He's there to fight strong people and like, plant these seeds.
And also this is
so the fact that we
not tournament arc or whatever.
The fact that we beat him means that like anything above him, if he's that powerful to just choose to become a floor master, then everything else isn't really worth seeing. There's not really a point to it. We know what it's about. We saw like the big Colosseum at the top. We know how powerful they must be at the top. Who gives a shit at that point? Like they're all the interesting part of climbing through these ranks was learning the new power system and the politics of dealing with those guys kidnapping Zushi.
And also it was getting Gon to accept his hunter license because by battling Hisoka, not even to win, just so
for
that
the ego of it all.
For his honor, essentially. So and I had almost like forgotten that was kind of the point. It's like he wasn't trying to win. He didn't necessarily expect to win. He just wanted to get a punch on him.
Yeah.
And I like that because it's like setting low expectations but being completely satisfied with the results even still,
Mm-hmm. What do you think do you have any ideas of what the Nen abilities, like their special attack, like their bungee gum will be of Gon, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika? If you just had to like guess, like, or just like what would be cool?
I don't know. What? So, can you just remind me what Gon and Killua's like things were?
Gon is an enhancer. He's the most basic bitch one. It's just about like enhancing your physical power or whatever, basically like making stuff stronger. And I think Killua is a transmuter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was making the water sweet.
Yeah. I wanted to say manipulator, but no, he's not.
I don't know. But one thing that I will say is I'm interested to see if Killua can like use some of his like assassin type powers to sort of enhance whatever his technique is going to be. Like Hisoka has this whole magician thing going on. If Killua can, incorporate some of his other things that he already knows and are second nature to him, if he can use that in any way, like as a part of his thing, I think that would be really interesting. Gon, I'm not entirely sure because he is like you said, his is kind of open ended. He can kind of, it'll. I think it'll depend on what he kind of encounters up next. That might, like in this next arc, he might get shaped into deciding one thing or the other. Because at this point, he was just like throwing rocks into the air, which, worked in that arena where they had reliably these big stones that he could throw around. But if he was in the middle of a grassland, I don't know if that would be that wouldn't necessarily be a good technique to keep doing.
Mm-hmm.
Kurapika and Leorio, we don't know their...
Well, let me... so here's... Hisoka said a kind of interesting thing that might like help you think about this in the future. So Hisoka has a Hiso's aura-based personality analysis. This is what it looks like.
Oh.
It's a manga panel of what he said in the tournament. And its enhancers are simple and determined. Manipulators are logical, does things at his own pace. Transmuters, whimsical and a liar. Hisoka is a transmuter. Emitter, impatient and not detail-oriented. Wait. Whimsical and a liar. Oh, no, I guess Killua is a Killua's a transmuter, sorry. Because Hisoka and Killua are the same. So, enhancer, simple and determined. Manipulator, logical, does things at his own pace. Transmuter, whimsical and a liar. Emitter, impatient and not detail-oriented. Conjurer, high-strung. And specialist, independent and charismatic.
I don't know. Can I just look at it?
Guess Leorio and Kurapika first.
I know. I just wanted to look at it.
Also leave a like, ladies and gentlemen. Please and thank you. like and subscribe for Hunter x Hunter.
I would say potentially Kurapika would be maybe a manipulator, because he like he is like emotional, but he's also like kind of by the book in a little bit of a way. Like he like, don't look at me like that. So that's what would be my guess for him. Leorio, he could maybe be an emitter, because I would say he's kind of impatient and maybe not very detail oriented. He's kind of all over the place, and isn't really paying attention sometimes, like in his fight, with his his trivia round, or his what it was
rock paper scissors versus that girl in the tower.
Oh, that wasn't rock paper scissors.
Yes.
No, they were betting.
And they played rock paper scissors, and they guessed like
yeah. They were but first they were like betting. They were gambling against each other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he. I feel like he does get
so
impatient.
emitter.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you think Gon and this is from Marty Melcher? How do you think Gon and Killua will develop now that Nen is involved? How do you think their abilities will grow and change? I guess you already answered that, actually. We've gotten small glances of the Phantom Troop, so do you have any predictions for them going forward? What do you expect of the Yorknew arc? What are your thoughts on, and do you have any predictions about Jing? Also, highlight moments of the arc and things you want going forward. This is from Chloe.
Okay. So
Phantom Troop predictions.
I think I'm not sure, because I can't tell if they're gonna be like, if we're gonna really get into them in this next arc, or if it's gonna be kind of a thing that we're chasing for, like we're gonna get a little taste of it, maybe meet like one person from it, because we know that there's like a meeting, or they're all gonna be actually
we learned
there.
from Hisoka, who is a
fake
double agent Phantom Troop member.
That was actually a cool reveal.
That was sick. That was like my favorite
awesome.
part of the arc.
But yeah, so we know that they're gonna be there, but I don't think our guys are really ready to face like a large criminal organization at this point. So I don't know. I feel like we might like build to them. We might, go around and do different things and occasionally like take down a member or something. But at the same time, that's like predictable, and Hunter x Hunter kind of does like other random unpredictable stuff. So
what is your prediction?
I'm saying I feel like I can't predict. I'm always predicting, but I feel like I can't.
Are you excited to meet the other guys?
The Phantom Troop guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. What do you expect for the Yorknew arc?
Yorknew arc? I don't know. Like I said, it's really unpredictable, because we're gonna go there, find more about the Phantom Troop, I'm sure.
What do you want? What's more interesting is, what do you want from the Yorknew arc? These questions suck. No, I'm just kidding. That's a more interesting question, though. What do you want from the arc?
I think what I want is, I'm excited to see Leorio and Kurapika again, and I wish we got more of Kurapika's training. I kind of hope we get like another like flashback of it when they join up and we see like what they've been up to this whole time, because that was really cool. Mm-hmm. And I want to maybe see what Leorio has kind of come up with as his plan, like what he kind of wants to do.
We kind of know that.
I know,
though.
but like he hasn't, seemingly as far as we know, he hasn't pursued Nen in any way. So how's that going to affect him when he comes back and all these other guys know like superpowers basically, and he's been studying medical stuff. Mm-hmm. I would be really interested to see like if that, like how that would change things, if he either decided he wanted to use Nen and pursue that in like a doctor type of way, like that girl who can stitch Hisoka's arms back together. I think I think that would be so cool for Leorio to take that route. Now that because he wanted to become a hunter, so he basically had the resources to help people. And it would be cool if he could then get even better resources to literally magically be able to like perform impossible surgeries and tasks. I think that would be so cool, and I would love it because we know that it's possible now that we after we saw that girl, and I really hope that he can, you know, take that. I'm not sure if that would fit with his type, however. But I guess we'll find out more of that as we go along.
So other than Leorio,
do
you have other desires for the arc?
I don't know. I'm excited to see Gon and Killua, you know, hanging out and what they're gonna do in this big city. I'm excited for Gon to see, like, because it's kind of like a market thing. Like it's
an auction.
They're like selling stuff.
It's like the biggest auction in the world.
I mean, I'm excited to see how he sort of interacts with this, like, because he's never been to anything like that, obviously.
Gon?
Yeah.
So
I'm interested to see what he thinks about it, and yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just excited for really anything to happen.
Bernard says you're moving pretty fast. Not gonna lie, that's true. Let me find one more good question before we close her out. From Ash, who has the coolest character design?
I don't know. I really like all of they're all cool.
Great answer.
No, I think objectively Hisoka has the coolest design.
Yes, obviously he does.
But I will say that I really like all of them because not all like Killua is pretty basic. He's just wearing like a shirt over another shirt and shorts.
His shoes are cool.
Yeah, but I mean it's simple.
His little cat face.
It's not super flashy, but it really works. And what I like about each character is very coordinated with themselves. You know what I mean? Like Gon has his whole green and orange thing going on in it, and he suits himself, and Killua suits himself, and Kurapika has like some sort of Knight of the Round Table looking outfit going on. And Leorio's just wearing a suit. So they don't go together at all. They all look like they're completely from random places. But they're all very purposefully styled in their own ways. So they look nice together because it looks like an equal amount of effort was put into all of them.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
They don't, even though they don't go together and their styles completely look like they're from opposite sides of the planet, which, I mean, they kind of are because there's so many different things going on. But they don't clash and they don't look like they're from different animes. They all look like they're a team.
Who's your favorite character from this arc? New character.
Zushi. He's so good.
If you said anything other than Zushi, I'd be mad.
I really like Zushi. I also really like the announcer girl.
She's awesome.
She was awesome. I will talk about, I know we talked a lot about this during the episode, but I loved when we went to the Gon and Hisoka fight, how everything just totally changed and it was like a big fight and she was like, I don't even know what's happening. Like,
yeah, she didn't say anything for like 2 straight minutes.
And then she's like, I can't keep up with this.
Yeah.
It's I love that. It was really nice.
All right, last question from Yo Mama. Has Hunter x Hunter become a better anime than Naruto yet? Not more emotionally resonant, but a more competent product? You saw this comment beforehand and you had a lot of time to think about it.
I was laughing about it. Oh. I think it is definitely, I think there's not really a question. At this many episodes into Naruto versus this many episodes into Hunter x Hunter,
in Naruto, we're just about to get to the Rock Lee versus Gaara fight. So
I get this is me going on every aspect, not just the story, and like he said, not just emotionally relevant.
It's the whole package.
The whole package of just a show. I think Hunter
it's
x Hunter,
unquestionable.
Hunter x Hunter is just so far ahead. There's no filler. There's no weird silences. There's no
building up of the budget and then like
there's no
terrible animation and then world-class perfect animation
but
for one
I will
episode.
say Naruto is definitely at that point more emotionally, you know, it gets you more on the emotional level, which allows you to look past some of the faults that it has. Right. But Hunter x Hunter, part of the reason why I really like Hunter x Hunter is because we don't have a super overly emotional main character who is just like, yeah, this is what I believe in and this is what I'm going to do. Like he
every 3 episodes it's not like
he's not sitting on a swing moping around. No, I like it because it is different. It's you know, he seemingly has no empathy. I feel like he could.
Yeah, you've been wanting to talk about this. Can you talk more about Gon as like your like you've talked about it through reactions and like here and there, but just give us an update on like your reading of Gon's character and what you think of him, because you talk about it to me a lot, but
know,
you
like,
never say it like on camera.
I really like it and I really enjoy it
because you can relate to it.
Yes,
it's literally Lindsay. Lindsay, by the way, her Myers-Briggs thing is like the main character archetype,
but not in that way. It's like Naruto and Obito.
It's
and
a
like
character type. It doesn't have to do with your level of emotion. It's like the main character archetype. So that's her Myers-Briggs. I forget what it is. You remember what it is?
ENFP.
Yeah. So that's like the main character. That's like the same thing as Naruto and all these other basic. That's what a shonen protagonist. Yeah. So, and when we were watching Naruto a lot, we would get this thing where Lindsay just is 100%. She's 100% biased towards people she likes. Or she's biased in favor of people she likes, and completely biased against people that she doesn't like. Villain or like, you know, she loves Kabuto. She loves to hate Kabuto, but she actually loves Kabuto. She loves Madara, like, beyond anything. And she fucking hates Pain, who's like a really sympathetic, empathetic guy who is a very tragic character and wants to do good, but is kind of on the wrong path. When you have Madara, who in a similar way is kind of wanted to do good at one point and is on the wrong path and still has like a twisted sense of morality, but is clearly more evil. And, you know, it's totally biased. And I think maybe you relate to Gon a little bit, and that's why you maybe like it. But anyway, go on with what you were saying about Gon.
I think I find him super interesting as a main character because in a weird way, this is the show that I can watch the most and like kind of not care what happens, if that makes sense. But like in the way that I don't like, I feel like everything's gonna be okay in a weird way because the main character is giving off this vibe that like most things are okay. People dying is okay. Like random shit happening is okay. Getting defeated in a fight is okay. It's getting your arm broken is okay. It's viewed through his lens, which kind of puts you in his position. Whereas I think you told me before, after I had said, you know, you could, if the story was being told through an outside point of view, it would be really fucked up. You know, he has been in so many fucked up situations. It's unreal. But because we're viewing it through his lens, where everything is fine, that's just the feeling that you have watching the show. And I like it because it's just interesting and funny. And for me, when I think about it, I think of all the ways that it can go. Either it can keep going like this and it's fine, or it can get more twisted where it's presented as being fine, but you as the audience and perhaps other characters in the show are like, what the what is happening? How are you just moving on from this like you know, if someone died or he killed someone or whatever, something happens that is like morally wrong, but to him it's not morally wrong because he has a certain set of his own things that he cares about and prioritizes. I just feel like it's interesting and it can get taken in a lot of ways. And it's just kind of funny. It's just kind of funny to watch. Like everyone's like holding on for their lives. One guy drops down and dies, and going just like it just not even.
It doesn't even register.
It's like he literally has tunnel vision, and anything like everyone else is they're actual NPCs. Their lives mean nothing to them. They're not people almost. It's just interesting because I feel like in some other shows, when you do have a mass of characters, say you're fighting in a battle and like hundreds of them die and the characters are like so broken up about it, but you as the audience are kind of like, well, I didn't know those guys. And I feel bad for the main character, but there's like that level of disconnect. Like you are not grieving for them. So it's kind of interesting to then be put in the position of like, how are you, main character,
feeling how I'm feeling?
How are you like feeling like you're one step removed from this world?
Yeah.
When you're in it, that guy right beside you just died a horrible death.
Yeah, it's like if you were to write a different shonen protagonist or a different, like say if you wrote the main characters of Naruto into that situation where they're all hanging from the thing, the story of that, like the little dramatic arc of that moment would be they're all hanging, they see the guy fall, and then Naruto like wants to reach out and catch him and loses his footing, and then they're all like, Naruto, you gotta hold on, or whatever. Like it change when you write a different character into the situation, it changes like what the arc of the story is, because the characters care about different things. But the fact that the fact that the arc of the story is, oh, guy falls, doesn't matter. And he's like flying up. Yeah, I got the egg.
Bunch of other
Man,
people
this
died.
is so delicious.
And
this is what we do as
also,
gourmet hunters. Now you understand.
Not even that guy that dropped beside him. All the people who just straight up jumped off the cliff and just fell to their deaths.
5 or 10 people died right there.
Oh no, I need to wait for the updraft.
So this is a previous arc, but yeah, it's the point is like you're saying about those characters. Through. Yeah, it's interesting that you're kind of picking up on that.
It's just funny, and I'm constantly noticing it and constantly thinking about it because it's just
very relatable to you as a sociopath.
No,
as a biased sociopath who doesn't give a shit about morality, has committed several war crimes, is wanted in several nations.
That meme of he doesn't flinch at genocide or murder
or human torture.
Yeah,
yeah.
I just find it enjoyable to watch because it's just different, and it's just kind of funny sometimes when you're just like, what? He's like literally skipping and jumping away from death and horrific events. And
we'll see how that turns out in this next arc. Make sure to leave a like if there's any more you want to say to close it out. Any last closing thoughts about the arc?
Let me just think about it for a minute. I think that's it, because I think we did have some like discussions of like relevant to like the fighting and whatever, like, you know, in our videos, and I think that this kind of covered all of the like overarching bigger ideas from that.
Well, stay tuned for the York new arc, ladies and gentlemen. It'll start the next Hunter x Hunter upload, whenever that'll be. We're doing it 3 times a week pretty consistently, so hope you guys enjoyed. It might have been a bit of a slow week. I don't know how these are turning out, but it would have been Killua arc. It would have been discussion for the Hunter exam, Killua arc video, Killua arc discussion. Or I guess no we've gone through the whole evidence. We recorded these at the same time, so sorry about that. Anyway, so we're about to pick up. Hope you guys are really excited. See you in the next one. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye. Check out Patreon to get the uncut so you can see the episodes right now. Bye-bye.